Hello guys, let's continue from where we reached last time. The last time we did up to part C of this question, where we calculated the range temperature for the week and mean weekly rainfall. So if you've not watched the previous video, kindly go and watch. It's geography set 1. Yeah. And please remember to share, like, and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Let's get started. So the first question asks, state 4 benefits of weather forecasting. So before we state the benefits, we are going to ask ourselves, what is weather forecasting? So weather forecasting is like generally, there are predictions of weather conditions over a short period of time. For example, one can forecast the weather conditions in 1 or 2 days, but not over a long period of time. Let's say you can't forecast weather over a period of maybe a month to come, or even it has to be on a short period of time. So based on this, let's discuss the benefits of weather forecasting. So one of the benefits of weather forecasting, you can see that weather forecasting, it helps in agriculture planning, whereby farmers can plan when to plant their seeds and all that, because when you have weather forecasting, we'll know when the rain is due. So they can get better ways to plan on when to plant their seeds for better yield. The next one is that it can be used to predict. It can be used to predict disasters and calamities. Can be used to predict disasters and calamities. And how so? This is because, for example, weather forecasting can give us an information of an upcoming storm. And so on being given an information of an upcoming storm, people will maybe be evacuated and avoid deaths and injuries. The third benefit of weather forecasting, you can maybe talk of weather forecasting as well, can be used in daily planning of activities. Daily planning of activities. This is just basic daily planning of which activities to carry out in a day. For example, if you get to know that the day, maybe tomorrow will be sunny, you can plan maybe to wash your clothes or something like that. So those are some of the benefits of weather forecasting. Yeah, now on to the characteristics of the stratosphere, that is. So stratosphere is one of the layers of the atmosphere. And now stratosphere has some several characteristics. So one of them, which is the most common and a very easy one, you assume that it contains the ozone layer. The ozone layer, you all know the function of the ozone layer. The ozone layer is the one that traps uh, it traps ultraviolet radiations from the sun and prevents it from harming people. Now, another characteristic is that in the stratosphere, temperature in the stratosphere, temperature increases with increase in altitude. With increase in altitude. So the higher you go, the hotter it becomes in this layer, which is opposite of the lower layer of the atmosphere, whereby the higher you go, the lower it becomes, the colder it becomes. But for this one, the higher you go, the hotter it becomes. And now you go to the third layer of the stratosphere. You can see that uh, it has a stable air. It has a stable air. How do I mean by saying this? You won't get like currents or something like that. They are very minimal. You won't get like something like a storm, currents, wind currents, and all that. It's generally a relaxed air. And then the fourth characteristics of the stratosphere, you can talk of you can talk of weather conditions are not muchly exhibited. Are not muchly exhibited. How do I say extreme weather conditions are not muchly exhibited. How so? Is because, for example, in the case of you want to get so many clouds there or something of the sort, something that can generate into disastrous kind of conditions in the atmosphere. Now we go on to the next part of the paper. Next part of the paper. So this one now involved field work. Remember, is it, I think in Form 1, the fifth topic, you guys covered field work. So field work is basically applied in all geography from Form 1 to Form 4. So any topic, most topics that you will do, you can find that they have the applications in fieldwork. And fieldwork is part of practical geography, whereby you have to go to the field yourself and you have to collect information. Now, for the first question, you have been asked that suppose your class carried out a field study on weather around your school environment. Give 4 methods that the class may have used to collect data. So this generally is all about methods of data collection. You have several methods of data collection. And the most common method of data collection that we usually do even without knowing is observation. You'll find that this class went outside, and the first thing they did, they observed. They observed maybe it was rainy, it was sunny. That's an observation, a method of data collection. Another one you can talk of recording. Recording is another method of data collection. You can talk of taking photographs. It's another method of data collection. And you can say that, okay, the question I think was specific. They were studying weather around the school environment. So in this case, you won't include recording. So kindly don't include recording because you won't record weather. You have to take photographs maybe. So the next one you can talk of maybe interviews and questionnaires. These guys would have gone and conducted interviews and questionnaires on the residents of the area. Given questionnaires out, and though these are two different points, use of interviews and use of questionnaires. And now, basically, that's about it. Those are some of the methods that the students may have used to collect data in the field. So observation, assume recording, taking photographs, interviews, and questionnaires. The third part of the question, or the second part rather, state 3 advantages of studying weather through fieldwork. So what are the advantages of studying weather through fieldwork? So we said that fieldwork is basically where you move out into the environment. You have to interact with the environment. So first advantage is that you are going to have it gives first-hand information. So in this case, whereby you are the one witnessing whatever is happening. You don't have to be told this happened or this happened. You have accurate first-hand information is always more accurate. And then it gives rather current information. What do I mean by this? Maybe you went outside and recorded that day was sunny. That is more accurate than going to the records and seeing that this area is usually sunny because weather usually fluctuates. And then another advantage of studying weather through fieldwork is that you'll gain skills. You'll gain skills. Which kind of skills am I talking about? There are several, but the main skill that you may gain outside, you can gain skills like observation. Get skills like observation just by going out into the field and conducting the experiment on yourself. And now to the next part of the paper. Yeah, I basically this is the last part. In fact, basically almost done. Almost the last part of the paper, but okay, let's finish up with number 5 first. Yeah, to state 3 problems that may be likely to be encountered during the field work. Now, here you have to be specific and know which kind of field work you are carrying out. And the question stated that they were carrying out a field work on weather. So if they were carrying out a field work on weather, what are the kind of problems one may encounter? So basically, the weather that they are going to do the field work on is one of the problems. Adverse weather conditions, adverse weather conditions, whereby maybe the students were outside and it rains or just from out of nowhere storms happen or something of the sort. That's a problem that may be encountered during the field work. Now, another problem that may be encountered, in this case, you can talk of, let's say, inaccessibility. Some areas are inaccessible because of the topography, so they won't be able to conduct accurate or maybe they'll use samples because they won't be able to conduct accurate data collection in such areas. And then another one is that problems that may be likely to encounter during fieldwork. You can talk of hash local, hash local people or individuals. You can get that when these peoples went to interview the local people, you can find that some of the communities, rather let me add that one, and also talk of hostile communities. Some of them don't like sharing information, and so that may be a problem encountered in the fieldwork. Now we move on to the next part of the paper, number 6. They're supposed to give 3 types of maps. Generally, we have 3 types of maps. Yeah. And the most common one is topographic maps. So these are the maps that you even be using for your studies mostly and examination purposes. Topographic maps, yeah, this they just give information of the general topography, how it looks like, if there's a river somewhere or something of the sort. Topographic maps. Then you have another type of maps called sketch maps. Sketch maps, these are the ones that your teachers will be telling you to draw in classes. You draw an estimate of the actual map. That's a sketch map. It's not accurate. It's not drawn to scale. Let me add that one. The difference between topographic and sketch map is that a sketch map is not drawn to scale. And now the third type of map is atlas maps. Atlas maps. That's the third type of maps. In atlas maps, the difference from topographic map is because atlas maps is usually a collection of mini maps, a collection of mini maps. That's about atlas maps. So basically, that's about the types of maps. Yeah, let's proceed to the next part. Now here, you have been asked to state, for question B, you have to state 2 uses of maps, 2 types of scales, and you give the uses of scales, give the uses of scales in a map. So regarding the first part of the question, so for the first part of the question, or rather the second part, you're supposed to state any 2 uses of the maps. So regarding the uses of the maps, you can talk of, first of all, the main use of a map is for navigation. You can hear maybe people, okay, some of you are fan of movies, and you find that some movies, especially adventure movies, they are usually maybe looking for a map to locate something. That's navigation. To navigate through an area, locate something, that's navigation. The other use of a map in geography can talk of geographical analysis. In the talk of geographical analysis, what do you mean? Geographical analysis is whereby you want to determine the relationship between two objects in an area. Maybe there's maybe talk of a hill and a river. A certain hill and a certain river. How are they related? Okay, which is west to which is right east to which. That is one for geographical analysis of phenomena. You can talk of geographical analysis of phenomena. That is. Now, name two types of scales. You can talk of the linear scale, and the other one you can talk of the ratio scale. So the linear scale is the one whereby you have to draw a line, and on that line you have to divide it proportionally, and each proportion is assigned a certain distance, which is a representative of the actual distance on the ground. Maybe 1 centimeter to represent 1 kilometer or something of the sort. For the ratio scale, now you have to write it in ratio form, or rather either in ratio form or you can write it in fraction form. Either is okay. Maybe you can write 1, sorry, 1 is to, you have to use a colon, 1 is to maybe 10,000. So now for the ratio scale, you have to be careful because whatever you are using in a ratio scale, they have to be of the same of the same of the same of the same unit. For example, if this is 1, then okay, if this is 1 centimeter, on the other side you have to have centimeters. 1 centimeters to present maybe 10,000 centimeters. But at the back of your mind, all right, let's say 100,000 centimeters. At the back of your mind, you know that this is a ratio of maybe 1 centimeter to represent 1 kilometer. But now you have to use the same units. Same for the representative function, which is also the ratio scale, 1 over 100,000, something of the sort. Now give the uses of scales on the map. So why do you even need a scale on a map? So a scale is usually, first of all, we use a scale to determine actual distances between phenomena in a map. That's one use of the scales. You have to determine the actual distance between maybe a certain escarpment and a certain escarpment and a certain ridge. You have to use the actual distance to determine the exact distance between the two structures. And now the other one is when you are drawing the map, the use of the scale is to enable you to represent vast area, enables us to represent vast areas on a small piece of paper. Piece of paper for analysis. Talk of analysis. So you can represent maybe an area that involves maybe even 30 square kilometers on a very small piece of paper. So that's basically for this paper, guys. So if you did like, kindly please share, like and subscribe the video on the channel. And if you have any issues, let me know in the comment section, or if you want any clarification in any of the parts we covered today. And otherwise, you guys have a good day. Yeah.